Okay. Uh, I think one of the questions I want to ask you is that if you had to say, I have built the business that I want to build, what would it look like?
The business. Okay, one, it should be able to run even if I'm not there. The business should run.
Can you raise up your mic?
Okay.
Thank you.
If I would say I've built a successful business, the business should be able to run whether I'm not there or whether I'm there. And most of my kids should be able to take over. Then I'll know that it's a successful business.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do you think you would have to do for you to be the kind of leader that builds a business that runs on its own?
Okay. Based on what you shared this afternoon, you said there are two things that when you build a business, you need to, they are the urgent things and the non-urgent things. So I believe if I could master the non-urgent things, which is your plan, developing a strategy, ensuring that you have the right team to execute the mandate or the goal of the business.
Thank you. So I think I want to hand over to my brother because he went into it. And sometimes, the reason I say that sometimes you work into entrepreneurs that say, I don't have time for planning, I need to execute, right? And maybe just a reflection on the benefits and the challenges of executing without a plan. Yeah.
Well, I think from experience, having started Leeto as a business and I kept on repeating this and I'll keep on repeating until people get the concept, is that you need to understand your consumer. You need to understand their demands, their needs, and you must then, when you're at your ideation phase, you need to build your product around that. So, if I recall, you said you wanted to operate a car wash at one of the shopping
That was
centers.
one of the, mainly on that, what I wanted to highlight was that sometimes I would have an idea, and sometimes I would also not believe in the idea. I would doubt myself, basically.
Yeah.
So the mentor was mainly to say, hey, buddy, these are the tasks we need to do. Please push. And
Yeah.
whenever I want to give up, I have that person. The funny thing about me, I worked as a developmental economist before. Part of our job was to assist people developing business profile and everything. So I had this one lady. She came to my house when I left the company. She came to my house. She said, look, Bloemfontein, they approached me for a tax shop, and they said I must bring a profile. I worked all out and I did everything. Even my wife was saying, you go all out for other people, but for yourself.
Okay, I'm going to catch you. And
Yes.
often, this is how it plays out, right? I'm sitting with an entrepreneur and I start asking them things, and then they start telling me everything else, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to catch you.
And we've got 5 minutes.
Right? So then I'd say, I get you, but I think if we refocus, there are two things that come up. Why are you in that business? And also responding to the question of who are you targeting? Is it the Virgin Active or is it the mall? Because those are two different consumers.
Okay.
But I will allow my brother to facilitate that, being clear of your customers.
Because you do need to develop your strategy. So your strategy should start with two things that you need to look at: is your consumer, their needs. You then need to look at the service that you want to provide as well as the product that you want to provide. Are they two talking to each other? And thirdly, how are you going to make sure that your customers know about your service and that they would want to make use of your services? Is it appealing enough? Is it functional? Is it giving them what they need? And I'll just use the car wash because that's what you mentioned. Some people want their car wash, they need to be hand washed instead of using a machine. Which way are you going? Are you going to offer both services of a machine? And how are you going to acquire that machine? If you're going to make use of hand wash, how are you going to make sure that you acquire the stuff that are going to help you deliver on that? Always remember that you need to have your value proposition, and she touched on that earlier on. So what is going to be your value proposition? And look, this is not to scare you away, but this is to really try and empower you to make sure that you do your research properly, because as somebody said, that if your dream does not scare you, then it means it's not big enough. So it's a good thing that it scares you, but it should not discourage you. You must have the determination to want to deliver on it and believe in it so much that you are going to make it work. And that is the difference between a lot of failures, where people come up with ideas, but they do not do proper market research. And research these days, honestly speaking, is free, and it's not everybody that has access, to Wi-Fi or to the internet. But you do have platforms where you can actually make sure that you gain access to that, and you then try and find information. Do research as much as possible. How are you going to develop your product? Who needs your product? How are you going to deliver it to the market?
So,
Minky, 2 minutes. Give him what to do when he gets off the stage now.
So, and that's where I want to go. But remember also, I'm a business coach. You know your business better than I know your business. I work with businesses across multiple sectors: mining, aviation, creative communications. There's no way I'm going to be a master of all of those things, but I'm probably fairly good in understanding the principles of growing a business, right? So for me, in a typical session with a client, I'd say to you, understand what the principles of understanding your consumer is, right? But for you to say you want a car wash at a mall where there's a version active, that's what you said earlier. Yes. My question would be, there are a lot of cars in that mall, right? And the people that come in that mall with their cars have got different needs for cars. Some of them is a person who's driving a family car because they want safety, whatever. Some of them are people that are going specifically to version, right? Are you going to target the version membership people, and what would that do for you if you targeted them? But you understand, I am targeting a person who drives, but who is also concerned about their fitness, who probably want convenience while they're gymming for their cars. Once you start understanding that, you say, if someone is going to version active and they're exercising, how much time do they normally exercise for? An hour. It means from the point that that person parks the car, I need to build processes that are able to get that car in and out within an hour. Can you see how it starts informing how your business is going to operate? Otherwise, there's too many. You don't know, and you can say, I want to address anyone who's coming to the mall who's a shopper. It will be a different exercise. You might have to say to everybody who comes in the shop, are you here for an hour or 2 hours? Because my process takes 2 hours.
And I mean, we also spoke about partnerships and collaboration.
Yeah.
Just you having mentioned the shopping mall and mentioning Virgin Active, do you think you could see Virgin Active looking for your service? Are they going to help you to access their own consumers? You know, you need to also build a compelling case for them to assist you to say, here's an SMME. That could be one of the things for Virgin Active to give back to the community and say, here's an SMME, and we would want to work with this SMME. But you also need to equally sell your story to Virgin Active. So there's a lot of layers that you need to look at, and you need to do proper research. You need to respond to as many questions that you have to yourself, and also speak to other people around you. Get advice as much as you can, so that you can then build a compelling case, so that when you go and present it to somebody, you are able to respond to as many questions as possible. You might not be able to respond to all, but you need to at least be able to respond to 90% of those.
So as a last takeout from what you presented as a challenge for us, right? I want to say, go back. The reason maybe you get overwhelmed is because you're not clear on what direction you're going. What is your goal? Why do you exist? Like I said to you, Nando's very clear. Chicken is the bypass. We want to impact the communities we come from. So once you have a picture of what am I trying to build, you are able to say what steps am I going to have to do, and we can then break down them piece by piece. But if you're not clear where you're going, the process becomes overwhelming, because we're not even clear why we're building it, who we're building it for. And anything you build, like my brother said, it has to be consumer informed. You're not building for yourself to buy the product, you're buying for the consumer to buy the product. So ask the consumer what they need.
Thank you, Minky. Enough to go and think about, reflect about, and see what you can do. Remember, people back the jockey. You the jockey. Back yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Snap.
Photo, please. Already, you are winning already. You are winning already. Can the lady who's committed to please move forward quickly? Next year we're hearing from you, right? Feedback is a breakfast of champions. Thank you, thank you. Super. We are almost going to the straight. We are 60 minutes away from somebody or people going to Lesotho for 30,000 rands to Lesotho. 30,000 rands in the mud, in luxury. Maybe sipping things, snacking somewhere, I don't know. 30,000. We are 1 hour away. So when I call up again my rock star of panelists, the driver of innovation, of thinking, the one who's going to motivate you to bring questions through, to let you go home with nice things. And I also have something else. Give Friday. I've got something that's going to set you nicely on Friday. So again, as you ask questions, there will be 4 prizes coming through. 4. Nicolette, please come through with Megs. Megs, CEO of Digital Shiro, and Dipolelo, MD of En Route Brands. Let's talk branding and marketing.
Give it again. Actually, I should get my water now. All right. Just a quick question. There's this thing we like to say in South Africa, people like to go to that place. So we'll say to them, don't you want to take a trip to Cape Town? And be like, Cape Town is so expensive. I'd rather go overseas. You've heard that, right? Where's that one place South Africans love going to? No man outside of South Africa. Eh? Dubai. I gotta be honest. Thailand. But what's the right? 8,000 rand to go to Thailand. Oh, you think about yourself. Why do you think Thailand became so popular? Cost? What other reason? The activities? You want that swing where your dress goes like this? Why else do you think Thailand became so famous?
It's marketing.
Don't you think there was somebody who intentionally made sure that Thailand gets marketed as a destination?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about destination marketing. We're also going to talk about digital marketing. Because the face of digital marketing no longer looks like what we think it does. Why? Because we've got a bunch of Gen Zs. You know, Gen Zs are very vocal people. They're the most vocal people in your office. If you're in an office, the little ones will tell you, but why must we come and start working at 8? when we can start at 9 and we do the same thing. So you can't, in your business, you can't forget them, right? Let me read you what Deloitte says. Deloitte says, so Deloitte takes out a report every year. It's a trends report. They say, Digital Media Trends Report reveals how the blended realities of younger generations are transforming the media and entertainment landscape. People seek, remember what Mbali said this morning? They seek more connection, they want immersion, and value for their digital media activities. So we want to find out today, what are those implications? What type of digital strategies should you be employing for your business, whether it's an ideation phase, whether you're in growth phase, or whether you're at scaling? Are you guys ready? Let's on board. Right, ladies, how are you?
We're good. We're good.
Are you
How
fantastic? Are
doing?
you feeling good?
We're feeling
Yes.
good, yeah.
Okay. I want to get the formalities quickly out of the way because I know my panelists, every time I ask them this question, they start off with their profile. So let's do profiles fast.
Okay.
Talk to us about your company, what it is that you guys do.
Okay, so my name is Bulawana Max Shibanda. I am the founder and CEO of a digital media agency called Digital Shiro. So we focus on digital marketing as a whole, but we mostly, digital marketing and focus on clients, brands, online. And then I'm also a founder I'm from Bloemfontein, Bloem Girls Rock Foundation. Yeah. So we have just under 100 kids that we are helping to go to university, but using digital marketing and branding to get us sponsors, to get us all the things that we need for the foundation to actually be running.
Fantastic. And then, Dipolelo, tell us a little bit about En Route Brands that you are currently MD.
Hi everyone, my name is Pulelo Moshe. I'm the MD of En Route Brands. We are an integrated marketing and communications company. We develop content strategy, we deal with advertising, we do social media as well. We also assist brands to develop their strategies as well, be it it's content, be it it's marketing as well. And also we do tend to actually assist with destination marketing.
All right, so I'm an entrepreneur sitting in this room right now. Bloom is my destination. I want Bloom to become that destination that everybody in South Africa wants to come to. I'm sitting with you and I'm consulting. And I say, how do I make Destination Bloom something that people are just enticed by? Maybe give us top three things that I would need to put into my strategy document.
Firstly, I always tell people, if you don't know your stakeholder framework, you need to look into who your suppliers are, you need to look into who your customers are. Very important, you need to also invest a lot in human capital. So make sure that your staff, the staff that you're working with, understand your brands, they have buy-in into your brands, and they're also going to stand in as ambassadors. So those are very key, because at the end of the day, you want to promote Bloemfontein, but you don't have the capacity in terms of human capital as well.
Okay.
So that's very, very key. Then you look into the product. A lot of people will say, well, I want to do this in Bloemfontein, but my competitors, they focus a lot on competition. And I say to you now, look into who are the other players in the market and find a way of collaborating with those people. Sometimes you don't even need money. You might find that you have someone who's good with catering, and you have an establishment, and you want people to come there, but you don't have the money to market. It works with like trade exchange partnerships as well. Then you are able to also offer your services to those people.
Dipolelo wa ropa. Dipolelo?
Yes, darling.
I'm Nicolette Mashile. I'm originally from Bushbuck Ridge, which is in Mpumalanga. There we have the Kruger Park in Mpumalanga. We've got potholes, Mac Falls, 3 run devils. Listen, Mpumalanga is booming.
Yep.
I can sell Mpumalanga to anybody, anytime. Sell Bloom to me. To me, who has all of these things I have in Mpumalanga already.
All right.
How would you, that's what I'm trying to understand, how would you use destination marketing to sell Blomo to me?
Firstly, I need to understand what your interests are. You know, I can't just sell anything and everything, you know. Earlier on, people were talking about Kayla K. People go towards their cars. But I love half-corp, you know. And that's mainly my drive to go there. So if I'm going to sell Bloemfontein and I want to also pick up destination areas that for me speaks to your interests,
Yes.
then I'll say to you, okay, fine. Do you want to wash your car and then be able to have this cuisine? Then go to Kayla K. Do you like picnics? You know, go to the Free State National Botanical Garden. Are you into ecotourism? You know, which is, for me, is very key. And I think a lot of people are really shying away from talking about ecotourism because everyone wants to do good for the environment. And we really need to position ourselves and the products within the destination marketing as eco destinations. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's finding that niche thing that the area has and then matching it to my interests. All right. That's quite interesting. Max, let's talk a little bit about some digital media strategies that are low cost because we don't have budgets. Low cost, but they work.
I always preach how good WhatsApp is, like,
Okay.
because, and that's a platform that people are not maximizing as they should, because these are people that are already, you have their contacts, they have your contacts too. At some point, they might even know you. You guys might have met, like, maybe you might know 95% of people that are you saved and they saved your number. Even for them to even see your status, it means you saved each other's numbers. Those people can, even if they don't buy your product, they can sit in, like what WhatsApp and Facebook has done for my business. It shocks me because I will think that those people cannot afford my services. But they will be in places where people that can afford my services are, you know. And if those people that are on your WhatsApp contact list, they don't know what you're doing, and if you're running a business, I really think you must reconsider this because it's the least costive platform. It's your network. It's your network. It's people that know you. You know, it's like you become even like a referral of someone that knows you. You know, like how it's now, like, you know, they will find you, so they will trust you to refer you. You know, so I really think that a lot of SMEs and startups are not maximizing that platform, and it's always, even itself, it's always innovating itself, because there's WhatsApp business, right? And it's like innovating itself to make you, the person that's using it, like, be able to put out there what is it that you do. And yeah, so I get really excited when I see small businesses maximizing WhatsApp, and I think a lot of people are not using it enough.
Okay, so on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
what am I using?
So-
Am I using the status? Am I sending directly because I'm going to start irritating people?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
kids, yeah.
here is a WhatsApp strategy that has been effective for one of my friends' company. So she said to me, I'm bringing in the bodysuit from China.
Okay.
I don't have money to market my products. I'm like, okay, let's sit down. So I said to you, guys, you have to use this, please.
Please.
I said to him, okay, let's go to Canva. I'm sure most of the people sitting here knows Canva. We created a banner for her. I created a banner. Like, okay, but of course we're talking about the product. She had already now only like a number where people can order everything, all the time. But before you advertise anything, you need to make sure that the people, when someone asks you a question and they want a product, it's very seamless for them to do so. Because if it's on their phone, the attention span ya motho mo, you know when you're on your phone and someone is not responding, you move on very quickly, right? So you have to be thinking of it like that, okay, all the touch points are done. So she already has the products. She has a website already where she's selling the products from. She also has a WhatsApp number. Okay, sharp. All those touch points are sorted. She has a delivery that a courier company that's going to deliver soon. So I said to her,
the
just make
client
sure
journey.
all of those things are done.
Yes.
Sharp. So then this is how we're going to do this. This is the strategy. Pick people, like your friends, maybe like 60% of on your WhatsApp status that are your friends. Ne? So let's say maybe 20 people ne, that are your friends on WhatsApp. And then you ask them because they are your friends. You can say, friend, ka Saturdaga, ne? People wake up around 8 o'clock. They are scrolling their WhatsApp status, and they are. So, ke kopa, unkupele di mata za gago tse 5. Ka 5 to 9, o tlo ba romela this banner, ne? O kopa ka 9 by their status.
Okay.
So, it's now your contact, their contact, they have other 5 people, and then, okay, so all of us, ka 9 o'clock that day. So we did a plan, ka 9, like all the other times that we knew that people are on WhatsApp and are active. Ka that day on Saturday morning, when I looked at my WhatsApp status, it was all my, like the status,
All of your
all of my friends' clothes were there. Not even my contacts, other people that know her, all of them. So everyone, you put a ham and make sure it's all posted. Le mama, what's going on? Now people are gonna be curious and gonna click. You know, it's like repetition. Guys, this is one of the best strategies that I know works. And by the time someone who is now can afford even your product, maybe until we rekisang, bakona we afford a Bible for actually, I like this. And how about contact? Of course, even your contact details are right there. How about contact? You are also very fast, like you move fast to be able to, because that's the thing about social media. You have to be fast. You cannot lose that, the real-time thing that people want, that you also want when you buy from somebody. So that strategy, even we did that for like a week, but every second day, like her online sales went like that week. Yo, I was like so impressed. I'm like, yo, I'm smart. It's simple though. And they're like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Using your contacts, other people that are exposed to your brand outside of you, you know. So it's one of, yeah. So I really love WhatsApp from me, yeah, for that question, yeah.
But I think quite pertinent and very key is what you started off by saying. Make sure the customer journey is seamless.
Yeah.
So that, because to spread messages is probably what you guys then focused on with the WhatsApp, right? But now, can you imagine as a client how frustrated I'll be? You've sold it to me,
Yeah.
I've bought in, but now I can't get it.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's the one thing that I think for me, I really held on to. I absolutely love that strategy. Tipulelo,
Yes.
I've stalked you, of course, right? On your Facebook, you say, we love developing brands, from helping you decide on the name of your brand to crafting your corporate image and CI guidelines.
Yes.
Let's talk about brand names.
Yes.
Makupereji, what TC trading.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing is somebody has a good product. However, they don't align their product and services to the name. I'm going to give you a good example. En route Brands, that is my company. It's growing brands. I'm telling you, En route Brands, we take you on a journey. Even if you look at my logo, you would see it's an infinity sign, but it's a road. Meaning that if you look at it, you have to really think beyond the brand name. So now, you can tie in your name of the company with your product and services. If you are JP Trade Company, and that is your name, it says nothing. Remember, when people are looking for a specific service, they are going to type in catering. And now your name is JPH Trading. You are not even going to, Max, when you do your Google search, you are not even going to come up onto that search. So we're now going to sit with you and saying, we literally are taking our clients through a journey and say, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you as Dipolelo? And you tell me, I'm Dipolelo, I love anything that is environmental, I love this and this and this. I actually want to start selling, let's say, what? We want to print
Yeah.
brochures. And then I say to you, okay, can you align your personal values to the company? Remember, your company becomes an extension of who you are now. And if you are saying to me, my company name that I thought of would be brochures and annual reports. Mama.
Yes.
at least we know that that's your product. Now, if somebody says, I want brochures, they're going to punch in, you are likely to come onto the first page, search, the generic search. But however, if you now going to like look at 3 directors in your company and one visualize Tataka N, and then mine is Tataka D, and then there's Max now, and then you are NDM solutions, that's completely wrong. You really are missing out on a potential market out there that is really looking for your services. So it's very key. So we sit down and say, okay, what are your products and services? How do you now develop a brand name that's aligned to what you are going to provide out there? And from there, we look into how we're going to develop a corporate strategy for you, but also do your CI that is aligned to what you do. A typical example, Facebook. We've always known Facebook in a little bit, so like Facebook and then the F.
Yeah.
At some point, it gets to, every product goes through a product cycle. When it reached maturity, they decided, no, you know what, we don't need the name Facebook. But everyone will see that F, will know exactly what this is. So it's the same thing.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Anybody in the room who's got a brand name that's got their name? And how has it worked? Okay, let's quickly get what those names are. Because there's a sentiment also that we've got as human beings. Because if you're calling yourself JJ Machaparutle Trading, I just feel sometimes like this is not professional. I'm being very honest. I'm being honest. That's what, it's sentiment, right? And sentiment sometimes sells your business.
Yeah.
So I want to know what those names are and the story behind it. So the gentleman has got his hand up. Skabofeta right there, yes. Hello, sir.
Yes, listen. The name of my company is MB Driving Academy. Those are my names. Molegwa Bongani Driving Academy.
Okay.
Yes.
So does the fact that you put driving in there change the picture?
Exactly. Because now you need to at least add on a service to your name. Because now people who are looking for driving school, they're not going to put anything else but driving. And now you will pop.
Yeah.
Any generic search, Google, you will be able to at least appear on the first 3 pages maybe of your services, yeah.
Just before you answer, we've also seen now, I'm trying to be as racially correct as possible. White-owned companies sometimes use black names or vernacular names, right?
Yeah.
And somehow the sentiment when they do it is okay. But when a black-owned company with black owners uses a vernacular word, people also then start to shy away from the company. What is the psychology there? So just think about it. I want the lady to tell us what her company name is.
My company name is Refuelers Kitchen and Catering Services.
Okay. So the kitchen and catering services helps.
That helps, yeah.
Because if you just said refillway, now we don't know.
Refill trading.
Yeah.
So what are you trading? So yes, it's very important to link your product and services to your company name, yeah.
Anybody who doesn't have the function of the business in the name, and it's just TD Mabuza. Anybody? Nobody? Okay, well, we're going in the right direction.
We're going in the right direction.
Talk to me about sentiment of ownership versus the name. Why do we look down when it's a black person calling it by Ebokamus or whatever? But we've seen when non-black people use it, people seem by Tabela. What is the sentiment there?
The sentiment is the same as you hearing, let's say, mom or Zamalangwana High, they're speaking English, and everybody think, oh, she is so smart. Do you feel me? It's exactly that. When you are now black and you're using a black company name, some people would say, we don't know if you can trust our services.
So
And
it's a
that's
trust.
very, it's very unfortunate. And then you look into white-owned companies that are using black name. Honestly, it's all about scoring.
Yeah.
They want to.
Yeah, because Danny doesn't care about Bukamos.
No, exactly.
But
It's your scorecard. That's
I
what
wanted
it
to
should
say that, but I truly believe that there's a change in that narrative.
Yes.
Because back in the days,
when you were like on social media, or anyway, people will say, no, we must speak English to accommodate everybody, right? But now, who are the best performing content curators on social media? It's people that are speaking their languages.
Absolutely.
Like when you so it's now changing. Like if it's nice to hear Mutu Abua because you know how you can express yourself. You express yourself better in your own language. So I really think that it was an old way, and at that time I think it was working for that time.
Yeah.
But now it's like if I wish I could start the name of my company now, Digital Shiro, because it is, my company is working, we're doing like global stuff, and it's nice to be, when you are in America and someone say, what's your name, what's the company name? Oh, what does it mean? And they understand how we love telling the stories about our languages, you know, like that type, you know. So I really think that it is really, that perception is changing a bit, and like you're saying, with the younger generations that we're having now, people are striving to be more as authentic as they can, because we've been preaching be yourself.
Yeah.
Now it's like working out for us. So I really think we should not shy away from our languages and our names, because someone out there is going to be curious to ask you, what does it mean? You know,
I mean,
so
we've seen successful stories, the likes of Batu,
Yes.
very successful.
Yes.
I think there is, and I think the people in this room are then collectively responsible to make sure we're fast tracking that narrative.
Yeah.
So, and I like what you're saying, because if you look at German companies, they don't change. They are in
No, they
German,
don't.
those
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Whether they're operating in South Africa or not, I mean, we are all probably pronouncing Audi wrong, you know? But and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Max, staying with you, how do you deal with the big divide? Let's say, for instance, a gentleman, it's a driving school, Nessa?
Yeah.
He's got a driving school. He wants to put together a digital strategy.
yeah.
Maybe a majority of his customers are young people, but he probably does have a couple of older people who are also trying to learn how to drive. Now there's a big digital platform preference.
Yeah.
Young ones may prefer Instagram, the old ones may prefer the WhatsApps. How does he create the balance?
I think by doing just that, because if you need to know who your primary, like who's your target audience, like, and what's the primary core of them, who they are, right? And like you mentioned platforms and where they're sitting. And then once you know and understand where they're sitting, you kind of then have to understand what type of, like you will post your content, post it for some time, and then you see which ones they engage with and which ones they don't. Then you start optimizing on the ones that you can see that that audience is engaging on. But I think especially if you're a founder and an entrepreneur, I really think you must never lose that people also buy. They're not buying your product; they're buying you.
Yes.
You know, so don't ever lose that authenticity. English bundles. Yay! So you don't lose that, because there's so many platforms. Chat GTP that is coming that can write your copy. If you allow that platform to write your copy, you're gonna lose your audience, because that doesn't sound like Max.
Yeah.
Max you know
Something, yeah.
something. Bombastic words. So it's important for you not to lose your authenticity. But to come to your thing is that you then know, could say, okay, the older generation, maybe they might be my priority, my primary market. Then you put more effort in them and you know what they are doing. But even the other ones, I think it's always, because if you're going to sit down and have a social media strategy, you cannot post what you posted on Instagram, on Twitter, like the same way, copy and paste. You have to always know, okay, guys, sometimes you just also need to put yourself, I keep going back to the audience, like, what do you like?
Yeah.
You know, like what, if someone had to post this, trying to talk to you, would you want to interact, you know? Because especially as marketers, we like speaking as if it's they. If you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person, my customer, like you forget, now you are also part of the person that needs to be interested in this thing that you're putting out. So I'm just saying, Kuti, like, you do have to put in some time, like when Minky was saying earlier, like putting that an hour a day, or like in a week on your social media content and just drilling down and seeing, okay, I can post it, now I know already now what my audience likes. Like I've noticed, oh, okay, when I post this, they like, when I post this, oh, I get more likes, okay, they like seeing that, so I'm going to post more of that, you know. So you also just need to just see what is it that your audience likes and what they're engaging more on. And then but you kind of, you have no choice. You can't speak to an older person the same way as you're speaking to a younger person. You do have to have a plan for each and how you're going to execute that content for them. And it might even be the same platform, but you're going to talk to them differently. Yeah.
And I like that. And I'm just thinking about, back to the idea of destination marketing, right? And I'll pose the question to the both of you. We'll start with you, Dipolilo, in answering. Content creators. How big is that market really in South Africa? Let's forget that Kim Kardashian tweets one tweet at 1 million. Let's bring it back to South Africa and talk about content creators in South Africa. I mean, the likes of Toby Rose, for instance, she literally shows us all of these places we've never seen in our own country, right? For you guys, when you are advising your clients, your entrepreneurs that you work with, what are you saying to them about content creation and influencers?
They have to be very genuine.
Okay.
They have to be very honest about what they're offering out there. When you create content, you have to also have a key message. You need to know who exactly you're talking to and what you're trying to communicate. One of my clients, I've said to them, you are posting pictures about your establishment being with a background of like the ocean. When you get there,
There's no ocean.
you have to drive like 10 minutes.
Oh, I get
So
you.
the content creators were good. The photography was excellent to a point that you can see the places here, but actually the ocean is quite far. Do you understand what I'm saying? So be honest about the content that you're creating. And yes, the content creators, that business is growing in South Africa because anyone can create content. If you have a phone, you can create content. That's why we have like, journalists somewhere amongst us that are not really qualified as journalists because they can't create content and post it. So it doesn't lie with just, a destination marketing product that can actually create content. Somebody can. Somebody who writes a review about your establishment is a content creator. They are really giving out the experience, the real experience about your product and services. So we need to understand that content creation is not going to come only from you because now you have to do the PR around your brand. Somebody else will write about the real experience about your brand and how they've actually engaged with your brand.
Max?
Batong. What's about until a month ago, I didn't know there's a skydiving place in Bloemfontein. Until Leila went and had the experience. Like, I was like, oh, Blomo, like what? I always just thought Paris and all those places that are marketed well in terms of tourism in the Free State, gets on, just here in Bloem. And it's because she is an influencer. And I'm just thinking right now, like out loud, like if you have something that you can give someone who's also still trying to build an audience for themselves right here at home, you have an agreement. Oh, come experience what I do, and please, and then I give you the experience. You can shoot. I'm not going to tell you what to shoot because your audience follows you the way they do and they understand. Yes. But I want you to come and experience my product and what I offer. Like, I really think, like, wherever everybody's sitting, I'm sure you know someone who has about 3,000 followers, 4,000 or 5,000 followers. And if you're selling something, just if we can have a conversation with them and say, hey, I'm doing this,
can you come and experience it with me? And of course, don't force them to be like, post my stuff. Blah. You want them to have the authentic,
Organic,
it
yes.
has to be organic.
Yeah.
And if they, so I'm just saying, Kuti, there is a place, I think it's Bloemfontein parachute, sky lifestyle thing. I only found it out a month ago because of an influencer from Bloemfontein. So I really think that there's, here at home is that there is so much opportunities because we can still at least learn from what everybody else has already done for the longest time. And then we then try to implement it ourselves, but in our own way. So just to answer your question, I'm just saying, Kuti, and at the influencer market, if you do it smartly and that person is really relatable to, because Leila is, the reason I know they chose her is because she had gone to the Val already, she did river rafting, she's that person, she likes adventure, so for her to do that, it was like, maybe, because I was like, no, this one, it was paid for,
Yeah.
but because it's her, no one could tell that this experience, and she will give you the real stuff, know, and so I really think, especially here at home, there is a huge room for influencer and for everybody to still find a way to give them an experience as a trade exchange to then maybe them, if they love what you offer, they will definitely post your stuff and just say, guys, I really love this, know. So if they are in between, then they will choose to post whatever they want to post. But I think we can take that advantage, and because there's a space here and there's that opportunity here in the Free State for that.
Just to add on, you see, when you create your content, you must have done some research. You must really understand your audience. You must really know what you are where you're trying to go with the content. Reason being, if you're not gonna create the good content, there's also an issue of risk. Reputation management is expensive. If you're not going to sit down and decide exactly how you're going to sell yourself by creating the right content around your product, around your company, around anything that has to do with your growth and potentially attracting the right market that you can retain, there's going to be someone out there who will actually create the wrong content for you and publish it. And you know how it is, any negative sentiments, they tend to get or generate a lot of interest.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you are on top of a game and you are actually leading when it comes to how you're going to position yourself, because content is actually about a positioning strategy as well, and it really culminates from having a good marketing strategy and knowing exactly where you are going to distribute your content. Because that's the other thing. You can't always distribute content in all the platforms. There is content that is not meant for Twitter, but it's meant for Instagram. There is content that's actually meant for Flickr, but that's not meant for Facebook and Instagram. So you really need to understand all of these platforms and reduce the risk of being in the wrong platform, because if you're to find yourself in Twitter and your content is all over the place, they are going to hammer you, those people. They are the most unkind ecosystem that I've seen. So you really need to know what you're trying to do. So it's important that you sit with someone that can assist you in developing the right content that's going to be properly distributed. And you know what? Placement is not just a physical product that's been put at Woolworths. Placement can also be content that is actually distributed to the right channels.
I like that. How many content creators do we have in the room? Anybody who is an influencer who's got at least more than 5,000 followers on one platform? Or am I aiming too high? 3,000?
Bomatunyana.
2,000? Okay, but you're an aspiring content creator. Who has a business that needs an influencer? Okay, now look at the content creator, give them eyes.
Yes.
Let's have a marriage quickly. Now I just want to tell you, I get paid to do content creation. Please. So you see,
surpass the experience.
there's two sides of it, guys. You could be an SMME in content creation, or you could be a business that needs content creation. And then you need to speak to them to say, how do I use my content creation, as Dipolele said, to position myself? Let's move on to the next question that I'd like. You know, it's so funny. I was telling Lerato, I think the other day, I was like, it's so funny how any business, when they're going through a lot of financial pressure, they take the marketing budget away, right? But there's that saying about if you don't do marketing, it's like winking to a girl in the dark. She doesn't know you're winking. She can't see you. What is the danger? Let's paint a real picture. I mean, I see it with South African film. I don't understand why we don't have trailers. It's like only 2 or 3 films that have trailers. What is the real danger, especially for an SMME, not to have marketing?
The danger is not having marketing, because how are people going to find out and know about you're going to create something beautiful, have this beautiful, brilliant service and experience that you have, and no one comes to experience it because you are not putting out. And I think when you say marketing, people get scared.
Yes.
They think, marketing, what will that
Billboards.
strategy? You know, but
Radio, TV.
exactly.
And those are the tools.
And those are the tools. That's media, you know. So, and there's being able to having a referral type of thing. That's marketing. Word of mouth. When someone is happy about your product, if you get,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's marketing.
Makeup artists are very good at that.
Yes.
Tell
Tell
your
other
other
friends, you know.
Yeah.
So you can do the basic things just to make sure Kuti, your product does not die and your business doesn't die. But I think if you have to prioritize anything because sales marketing also goes hand in hand, right? I really think that even though I'm in marketing, you must prioritize your sales.
Yeah.
Than if it's like now you are scraping and there's nothing, you don't even have time. But the only thing you are able to do is to do sales, and that maybe then focus on that.
Give us some of those. Because in fact, in my head, I'm thinking, it's probably easier to convince somebody about marketing if you can directly link it to a sale.
Yeah.
Because often we do marketing and, okay, people know about me,
Yeah.
but they're still not buying.
Yeah.
So how do I get them from orange to green?
So then I think what you need to know, what you also need to discover, I get it because I'm referring to people that have already started the company.
Yes.
And you've already, so you have to find out, okay, ke rekisitse, my batho ba ka mo next door, ba itse ba batla dibeko ke Magwenya, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the only, batho ba Blomo, ke gona hela re reng ke dibeko. And then, so, me wa ka mo next door, o rekile dibeko tsa ka, why had rekile?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And then you find out you find out, you're like, okay, o rekile, and then tatole, someone else, if you have 3 people that are buying your products, you are able to run a business from that. But you need to find out why. What made them sell? What made them buy your product? And then no, they are softer than oh, okay, they like this part. Then when you go to, maybe you are sitting with 10 more people, you tell them, hey, they are softer, they are like this, and that's how you are then able to then upsell. But the thing about sales, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you really have to know your product. Max, hey, digital shiro, you have to know your product and your business, even you know. So I think, so I think just use the information of why people, your first few customers, why they bought, why did they buy into your brand, why did they buy into your product, and then go to places like, when there is hiking stuff, I've seen there's the trend in Bloem now, it's hiking is starting to pick up. You know, join those hiking trails. Those people might be buying, they might be potential customers, but of course you're not gonna get there, hey, I'm selling this immediately, because that turns people off like, hey, I came here to hike, why are you telling me about your product? You know, so, but you just put yourself in spaces and places where you know, there's a potential way of finding your customers. So marketing is like you have to market your brand, and it doesn't have to be like the most hard things and the most confusing things. The simplest things you can do to market, and you have to always market your brand. But you cannot run a business if you don't know how to sell your product.
So Dipolelo, thank you, Max. And I want to give Dipolelo a context, because I think you've kind of captured the entire reason. Dipolelo, I do tenders. My business is with government.
Yeah.
Nugget Lata di form. Do I need to market?
Absolutely.
Who am I marketing to? I'm fetching my business from government tenders. Who am I marketing
Remember,
to?
when you put those documents together, and I'm assuming that you're now talking about the compliance documents together that you need to
Those
submit.
DCB,
Yeah, SBD forms,
yeah,
MBD
those
forms
ones.
and stuff like that. You still need to position your company. You need to have within those, that submission, there has to be a company profile.
Okay.
Because then you can't just submit and not tell people who you are, what you are about, have some organogram that says, we are this, so many people, and then this division is run by this and this and this. And then they know what you are able to deliver on.
So my company profile is part of my marketing assets.
It has to be, yeah. Because then who are you submitting these documents? If we are going to receive piles and piles of SBD forms filled by like 100 suppliers, who are you then?
What
Why
have you
you?
done?
Exactly. Hence, they would say to you, then include reference letters to validate that you've provided a service somehow.
Does your company do company profiles?
Yes.
How many businesses in here need company profiles? You guys don't need company, I need one.
Yeah.
You guys don't need company profiles. Could you give us a 10% discount?
Yeah.
10% discount to profiles. Are you guys in? All about to push it to 20. No, I've given you the 10 first, but I'm pushing your own. Right. And the reason why I ask this is I think sometimes we think, as going back to your response, marketing is this huge thing. I've got to put together, you know, a 30-second advert. I've got to get radios. I got to get all these people. But there are assets that one can use to be able to market, right?
Yes.
We've seen another thing, and I want to ask you guys the power of storytelling. We've seen a lot of young South African brands that have built. I mean, if you know the story of Batu, you know the story of Theo Baloy. You know, if you know the story of Drip, you know the story of Lekau. So if you know the story of Skinny Svoo, you know the story of Svoo. Tepo, the gene maker, you know Tepo's story. Many of our smaller entrepreneurs have not tapped into storytelling. Or they don't have a story. I want to run this business, but what is your story? What's the
always
power
a
of
story.
that?
There is always a story. You cannot start any business without having a story. Because your story is your background. Your story is the reason why you firstly started your company. Your story is where you are trying to go with your company. And whether you are customer-centric, whether you really want to navigate into a world of, sometimes you are a woman who wants to break through into the engineering space, that is your story. You have a compelling story to tell. And that actually supports what your business is all about, where your business is going. And people must not shy away from talking about what they're trying to do. A gentleman said to us, they wanted they were thinking of a car wash. There is a Vision Active at the mall.
Yes.
Your story is you have identified a gap where people are sitting in malls, restaurants, and some are in the gym. And you just want to make sure that you wash their cars. That is a story. You are trying to drive a business. You have identified that gap. And you want to also generate income. You have knocked on many doors. They have shut. This is an opening that you're seeing. That is your story. That's how success is built. You have to have a story. there is always a story.
And your story defines the type of customers you're going to attract.
True.
You know, because
It's relatability.
yeah, and like I said, people buy into you more than they're buying into what you're selling. I know my story is that with me, I know that because of Digital Shiro, there's Bloom Girls Rock. You cannot put Megs here and not say anything about Bloom Girls Rock. And I had, of course, the last 2 years, I've also now pushed Digital Shiro a lot. To be like, hey, there wouldn't be Bloom Girls Rock if it wasn't for Digital Shiro. You know, so, and I recently got an investor in my company. And all the reason I got that investor is because he knows my story. He bought into my story. Even when we were sitting down, signing the contracts with the lawyers, he's like, I'm not buying Digital Shiro, I'm buying Mags. You know, because that's like, you have to know, like every time when you talk about your business, you have to, that passion has to be there. And that's why I think when you are more focused on the business, you never get a chance to talk about your business, you know. So once you've created that service and that product, when you then start going into, okay, these are my clients and these are potentially people that I want to attract, or do I want to attract investors, or do I want to attract customers? You know, so you then focus on, okay, I'm going to do investors. You need to have a story. They want to hear, they want to know who, like, you know, like, like that's who I am. I'm from here, and they know about my passion for the people at home. My clients know what they do. They know when they spend money with us, their money is also going back to the community. That's my story. My story is that the foundation, the work that we are doing, all those kids that we are pushing to go through, to finish high school, because there's a problem of finishing high school in the townships. To finish high school, to finish varsity, Digital Shiro can hire me.
Absolutely.
That's my story.
Absolutely.
You know, so you need to have, thank you. You need to have a story that sometimes doesn't even involve money.
Yeah.
You know, like if Motua is for whether you are in or not, you are not, this thing will still go. You know, so it's you need to also like focus on that, on your story, because I promise you, when you sit across whoever, anyway, liliko garaching, reka mollo, or yena reka e, and you connect and you are able to talk about what you do, be like, when they leave, you touch them in some way. That's your story. You know, so I think, now you just hit me, because this is so important, because we lose why we even started our businesses in the first place.
True.
You know, so it's and if it's important, like I said, the type of people you're gonna attract is because of the story that you are telling. So you must also be mindful of, okay, this is my story, and these are the type of people these are the type of customers that I want to come into my business. You know, so it's super powerful what you just asked.
Can I just add something?
Yes.
While it's important to acknowledge that you have a story, you also need to understand that your customers have a story too. Post-COVID, people have changed perception about who they want to be, because they have survived the pandemic. Now, you're talking to a different target audience altogether from who the people were in 2019 before we experienced this. They have a story. They're coming to interact with you and your product because their story means that you are the solution to what they want. So while it's all good that you have a story, you also need to be able to listen to what your customer are all about. Know them so much that you are able to package your product and services to actually address and be a solution to their needs.
Before I open it up to the floor for question and answers, Mags, black and pink. Why? What's the story behind the black and the pink and the purple that we see
For my company.
for your company?
I think even the name Digital Shiro, I wanted to be clear that my company is owned by a woman. Ne? I wanted it to be clear that in the future, then, like I already knew where I was going, right? I already knew that I'm gonna have employees, my business is gonna outlive me. I knew that. So, but I knew that I want people that gonna come work for me. They must be embrace being led by a woman. Because no matter what, the CEO I'm gonna hire is gonna be a woman. So my company is going to be a women company through and through. You know, so for us, then the colors also then became part of that, you know, and how, for me, it's how powerful those colors are, you know, because then, without even me being there, when you see the color, you
tell
know,
the story.
well, it's, it's owned by a woman. And I had feedback where some guys are like, you calling your company Digital Shiro? No man will want to work for a company called Digital. I'm like, thank you. It means that the name of my company filters people like that. I don't want people that are scared of women to work
for you.
to work for me and to work for the women that are leading my company in my company. So I think that was really quite intentional.
Yeah.
Even wherever I go, it's important because also as women, you have to understand the buying power that women have in the world, not even just in South Africa. Women, there are so many households that are led by women that make decisions, you know, so that's where your customers are. So I was not gonna shy away from the fact that I know that the buying power is also like majority of it is from women, you know, so to me at that time, and now I'm glad I did that. It's been working for me. And if it did not, it means that was not for me. What worked for me, it's exactly what's working for me now. You know, so you have, I think because I already, like when Mikey was saying, like knowing where you are going, where your company, when I started my company, I knew exactly you know, and of course, I didn't get there the way I thought when I started I'm gonna get there, but I'm there, you know, so that's what I'm grateful for, that I knew that I'm gonna get there, but what is it that I need to do? So being a company that is owned, and if one day it outlives me and I'm no longer around, the CEOs, every leadership will be done, but it will be women.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the floor for questions. And while you guys gather up your questions, Tipolelo, top three things that you think SMMEs are getting wrong in terms of their marketing. So just hold on. Can I see the hands for the questions? We've got one there, we've got four there, and one there. I can see the hand there somewhere. All right. So we'll start with the lady. So just give us top three things that you think SMMEs are getting wrong in terms of their marketing.
The first one would be not putting an effort in developing a stakeholder framework.
Okay?
The second one is
Wait. I understand a stakeholder framework. About explanation.
explanation.
Explain
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right. A stakeholder framework is where you identify key players that are going to be part and parcel of your business. So when you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm gonna have so and so as customers. This is my
Stakeholder one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first one. I need suppliers.
Stakeholder two.
I need to have staff.
Stakeholder three.
Attract the relevant staff. That would be brand ambassadors. So I'm just going to give you top three, and then develop a hierarchy and your communications plan and how you're going to communicate with each and every one of them. That is the stakeholder framework. It's part and parcel of marketing, because marketing is also communicating your intentions, your product and services.
Okay.
The other one is thinking that if you post something on Facebook, you are doing marketing. There's a lot more. You have to have a proper content strategy. And let's move away from the bombastic words. You have to know really what you want to tell people. Let's put it as simple as that. And know exactly what you're expecting the people you are telling about your product and services to do. What is the response that you're expecting? And then you can align your key messaging along with what you are hoping to get out of the communications. The third one is being accessible. It's all good that you have this beautiful product, but you are not accessible. People want to get hold of you. They don't even have, your poster doesn't even give contact details, your physical address. It's just this beautiful picture of, let's say, if you're in catering food, you know, we don't even know whether you've sourced that picture from Miami or wherever, but it's, we don't know how to get hold of the jokes, you understand? So when you do content, you need to make sure that you are accessible. So those for me are very key, because that's the only way you're gonna drive your business, where you are telling people about who you are, how to find you, and really they must experience your brand through that kind of communication.
Love it. Let's start with you, ma'am.
Dumelang. Okay, I hope my English doesn't run away. My name is Maleshwani Dichabe. I'm in events, PR and marketing. I don't have a question. I feel like SpongeBob. I've been here for the past 3 days and I've taken in so much. Thank you so much, Oslerato, for this opportunity. Ne? I have a challenge for all the entrepreneurs in here. Every single one of us in here right now has finances as a problem. Every one of us in here has knocked at somebody's door, whether it's a bank, whether it's SIFA, NEF, wherever. And I've picked up one thing that all the speakers since Tuesday, is it Tuesday? Wednesday. All of them, they're all leading companies that are multi-international, not only South Africa, but Africa and the rest of the world. They all talk about collaboration. One thing we lack here in Bloemfontein is collaboration. One thing that we, as Bloemfontein entrepreneurs, we will not get right with our businesses is that we don't collaborate with each other. If Renale 5 Rand really bakana and we say, let's put it in a kitty and let's see whose business we are going to fund for whatever reason that they need. And then that person will pay back the kitty once the business is up. I mean, how many businesses can we get up and running? We can't depend on government because government doesn't have money. We can't depend on banks because we are not bankable. So let us get ourselves bankable first, and we can do it by ourselves. So I'm putting it unto you, everybody. I challenge everybody. Let's set up, for a lack of a better word, a stock fair for a business where we can, each and every single one of us, pop in money. You come with your business idea, you present to the executive, because not working at chelete mo. Yes, when we feel hore you are ready, we will give you money out of that kit. But hore re tlo dula mo and we cry, no money, no money. What are we doing about it? So that's my challenge to everybody in here today. Thank you so much.
Welcome the challenge. Let's please pass the mic there, but let's quickly go to you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much, Osmali Shri. I think two blonde heads are a great team together. She has taken three.
Third one.
I think she has taken the words right out of my mouth. But also, firstly, I just wanted to say thank you so much once again. I think you ladies are powerful. Absolutely. I think you are intentional. I think especially you, Osmex, was very intentional about the color and was probably thinking, all right. So we are very happy about that. So the first question I actually wanted to ask, and as one of the things I was also hoping was one of the questions that we raised since we're talking about travel and tourism. And with Makufe just around the corner, right? I was thinking about Airbnb. And I think that topic didn't come up, but hopefully we can still be able to figure it out as we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Princess. I go by the Mad Princess. And yes, ke sekgafinyana, but that means mad about delivery. So I'm very fortunate also in that I have a company that uses my podcasts for their own master classes. And back in Joburg, that's sponsored by AMPD Studios and the other OM company. Maybe I'm not allowed to say it. But just going back to what everyone was saying earlier about maximizing the platform, making a use of the opportunity and marketing and how we don't have to go far and so on. I also believe that these platforms are giving us an opportunity to do just that. So luckily we do have Wi-Fi in the house. And I'm gonna say, let's network with the $Space TV. That's my channel. We also from social enterprise community, which is...
Princess.
Yes.
Hey, get your shapiwa today.
Askies.
Time. And
Can
I'm
I
giving you now a chance to ask one question.
Eh.
And I know you want to carry on.
Eh.
You were asking a question about Airbnb, but you didn't ask the question. You threw it in. So
Eh.
let's restrict you to
Let's
that
wrap
one.
it up.
Ask that one.
All right, guys. SEC Social Enterprise Connect is a platform for the social entrepreneurs. I'd like to invite everybody that's here because like Osmalishwani was here, we are all here together. We don't have the support. We're not supporting each other, and entrepreneurs are very lonely people. The questions are, how do we connect those barriers so that we learn to properly work together, to partner up properly without, they're looking down on each other, but by how do we build proper support structures for ourselves by ourselves?
Perfect.
That's the question.
Perfect. Can I get the question at the back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Mike there. Question here. Yes, go.
As I should. Okay.
Please, guys, no contextualization. Get us straight it away.
Yeah. Yes. I actually just want to ask about, I had them talking about if you say a name let's say you name your company in a vernacular name and people won't really consider
So,
it.
and Mashile.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've just realized that myself, I'm a cultural activist. I just also would like to know, in a simpler terms, how do we conduct business in a cultural way? Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking I need to have a degree to know how to run a business. I'm hearing all bombastic words, you understand? Is there a way that business can be conducted in a cultural way, in a way that speaks to people? Because I find it's too cheesy for me to understand how, all the things that are being said here. Is there a way that we can speak directly to the people? How, when we do marketing more especially, is there a way that we can speak to people?
Got you. Yes.
Afternoon again. One question, Max. One question, Dibulelo. Max, I want to know, what are the etiquettes that we can use as an influencer or content creator that you should be always thoughtful of on the social media world, etiquettes that we should always be thoughtful of? And then for you, Mags, I want to know what are
For Dipolelo.
for Dipolelo.
Yes.
I'm sorry. For Dipolelo. Dipolelo, what are the top 3 social media platforms that one can take advantage of at this point in time?
Perfect. Thank you. Love that. There was one last question there. You have a question? Okay. One question here.
If the Tottenham Hotspur's deal had got a thumbs up, was the Free State local economy prepared to welcome the tourists?
Okay. Yes. Please pass the mic on there. Let's move fast, guys. We've got 5 minutes. Tumelo, give me 5 minutes.
Both to our panelists, I just want to find out, as a visual activist, visual artist, I find it quite offensive that influencers and content creators, they have no respect for the arts, which is photography, videography. How do we address that?
Ish. Okay, let's start. I know, Dipolo, you wanted to comment on the young lady who was speaking about collaboration. Stockfell, quickly, please.
All right.
And then maybe answer the same question that she asked about how do we collaborate? How do we put in action?
All right. The first thing I wanted to mention to her was, you do know that there are a lot of tech shops that are predominantly owned by the locals that actually died a slow death and they disappeared. And then you had foreigners that came into the country that are able to collaborate. What they do is they say, okay, we are servicing these areas. When we go and buy, we will club together so we can get bulk discounts. And that's actually that. You identify each other's skill set, strength, and then you come together and, nip on each other's strengths. And that's very key. Hence, I always say, like, when you have that framework that I was talking about, you will know, okay, these are the suppliers, this is what they're able to give. I don't have money, but I'm able to trade, exchange, and go into a barter deal because then I'm able to use my skill set to empower this company, and in exchange, I can get this. That's basically what's important. I think I'm also...
I think she's answered both questions.
Yeah.
Can we answer the question on culturally? How do I market from a cultural perspective to be able to speak to the right audiences? I think that's what you're trying. Take away the cheesiness.
You see, that my problem is the cheesiness is in the word culture as well, because there are subcultures as well. So what I want to find out from you, what product and services are you now selling, so that at least I can sort of,
frame it.
Wilderness.
I'm into wellness.
Wellness.
Yes.
All right, there is a subculture of wellness. You know how it has boomed, especially during COVID with a whole lot of like online content in editing for people to be part of, like, if you're going to look into wellness in terms of your dietary or in terms of like physical activities, am I talking to you or
More spirituality.
Spiritual wellness. Yes. All right. Then it's very important to understand where your market is and who is your target audience. And you're going to speak to them in a language that they can understand. I'm going to give you an example. At some point when I was working for Sanbi, there once came a Sangoma at the garden because they wanted to understand the medicinal plants. Do you understand? So it doesn't mean that if you don't speak there, you are not relevant and you cannot actually be able to market your product and services. To us, when she came, we actually understood that she really wants to understand how the plants work and how she can actually now start talking to people who are also coming into the garden.
Can I wrap this one up? Can we take it offline?
Yeah.
You guys can connect offline. All right. Etiquette for content
Okay,
creators.
so I think first of all, with content creators, I just need to know, what is your objective? Are you just trying to entertain people, or you actually want to make money out of it? Meaning that you might want to be working with people like us when we are working on campaigns with clients and looking for influencers or content creators, even influencers. Do you want to attract people like us? Because Rona, the first thing we have a problem with a lot of content creators is that if you send them a simple email or a DM and they don't get back to you. They take forever. But I think maybe it's because their objective is not to make business, because I'm like, okay, maybe Mutuaba creates a business, So I think if you just identify your objectives, what is it that you're trying to achieve out of this, then you didn't build around your brand around that, because I'm not going to sit here and say, this is what you must do, this is what you must do. Especially after COVID and what happened with global and and what happened to social media. Everybody right now, we're all trying out new things because you have to always keep trying something new. You can't do things the old way anymore. So I think for me to just say, just know what your objectives are. What is it that you are trying to achieve out of this? If you're trying to make business, then if you're trying to make money out of it, then be more professional, yeah.
Can I cap it there? Can you also respond to the one about the disrespect that content creators have towards the actual creatives? And I say the actual creatives very loosely. It should be the other creatives.
I think there's a room for everybody, because I understand, like, if I'm a serious business and I want my brand to be represented very well visually out there, I'm leaning more towards working with a photographer and a videographer, because they understand how this is supposed to look like, But if I'm gonna be wanting someone who just shows me their personality and their authenticity, still, when I that word, I will then maybe work with someone who is a content creator and uses their phones to do so. So I really think that there's enough room for everybody to do well in their own space. If someone is looking for good looking visuals and they know, okay, this person is I'm looking for someone much more professional, they are going to go for photographers and videographers, you know, so I really don't, yeah.
Dipulela, I know you want to add on to that. I have to just pull you out because there's a question already for you. Please answer the question on top 2 platforms.
All right.
That one can hit go now.
Top 2 platforms are actually guided by who your target audience is. I cannot say to you, go to Facebook, because your market might be in LinkedIn. You know, that's a professional space, then that you're talking to everyone. You could be talking to a 5-year-old whose mom started a profile, and I say Facebook, and you're supposed to be talking to professionals who are really trying to work with you and do business with you. So it's very important to understand what your product and services are all about, and then we can say to you, all right, then this is your space, not that one, this one.
The fastest growing though, it is TikTok, right? But like she's saying, I think even 3 platforms are a lot. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they make a mistake of thinking they need to be in all the social media platforms.
Yeah.
Choose one, maximize, do as much as you can on that specific one that you know that your clients are sitting on.
Okay, I will be amiss if I do not address the last question that was asked. If the Tottenham Hotspur deal got a thumbs up, would Free State or Bloem? Would Free State be ready to host if Tottenham did what? Came down? But the Hotspurs deal was to brand us. So if we got an influx of tourists, if that went through and South Africa did see an influx, Free State saw the biggest one, would Free State be ready? Has it been marketed as a destination?
We handled the World Cup. There were games here that were happening. Weren't there?
Yeah, there was France was playing with.
Yeah, the only big
Okay, but they had to be here because there was a World Cup. What he wants to know is, Free State, is it ready as a destination for tourists?
It is ready. There is transport infrastructure that's actually good. It is ready because we are people that are essentially hungry to see soccer because we've been denied that opportunity when Siwelele went the other direction. So definitely it is ready, and I'm sure people would flock in, and not just people of the Free State, but people from other provinces as well.
Perhaps we must ask him, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Your business
Philips
ready?
is here. Are you
The
ready?
big opportunity though lies with accommodation in the Free State.
But you know what? I
In
have to
Bloem.
say this. Copyright, when it comes to photography, there are laws that are there to actually protect your work. You can patent some work. You can actually make sure that you are able to sell your work. There are ways to sell your pictures. Whether you take them to stock images or you sell by yourself, you can just put restriction whether it's a once-off use, multiple use, you use it for commercial purposes, or you just use it for PR. So there are ways to actually ensure that your work is respected and copyrighted.
Ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely amazing duo. Let's give them a round of applause. Ladies, thank you so much. It's been absolutely fantastic today. Can we get a picture? Oh. Wena Dipulela, ke tlo shaba-shaba ditlhako tsa hao.